Delusion is worse than just failing and admitting it. So noises are going on outside, but the topic of this video is that you should not fool yourself into thinking anything. In every moment of your life, you should just be completely self-aware of the moment as it is, not as you want it to be, because then you're actually going to be able to improve the situation. Like, pretty much everything comes down to awareness. I've been finding in the last few weeks anyway. In the last few weeks I've went through more pain than I've been in the last 6 months, and the way I've gotten through that pain is by just accepting it as pain and feeling it, feeling the truth of it. Whereas when you're deluding yourself, you're just pretending it's not there, and that in turn ironically makes it more difficult to bear. So you're not even though you're trying to get away from this, it's just going to catch up to you quicker, because you're not fighting it like a brave person. You're cowering away like a weak person, and that means you're going to lose. It's pretty much all about attitude. If you believe in your spirit's ability to bear it and you just accept it as it is, then you're going to bear it. That's pretty much just a fact of life. If you believe, I don't believe in any kind of law of attraction garbage or any kind of thing, believe and you get. No, but if you believe you can withstand a certain amount of pain, then you probably will be able to, but you have to keep that belief inside your head, even as you're going through it. So every single morning I put my body through absolute agony doing a bunch of push-ups, and I feel breathless by my 40th one, but I do more than double that, so I end up getting through it anyway. But while I'm doing it, I just really tap into my brain's ability to just process the pain, and that is an expression of truth essentially. It's to be the ability to process these things as they come by, processing these sensations. And when you're able to process things, it makes it much more likely that you're actually going to be able to get through it. You can put yourself through nightmarish torture, and if you just accept, yeah, this is nightmarish torture and I'm going to bear it anyway, if suddenly it just seems like if it suddenly seems way less, like it's not an insurmountable task anymore, you're able to get through it. Like, the human spirit is capable of so much. They're just capable of bearing so much, and you have it in your mind that yeah, I'm not deluding myself, this is pretty tough, and I am humbled. I am completely humbled. Let's just try and get through it anyway. Let's just feel it, process every sensation like a mindful monk. That's the way to get through these random massive updrafts in pain. And pain is just something that warns you that you're doing something that's kind of killing a part of yourself. But sometimes you want that, and you just need to understand, yeah, I'm going through this because this is a barrier for entry to stop the weak people. The weak people delude themselves, and they can't go through any type of humbling or any type of spiritual exertion, because they think they have already made it. And that's what arrogance is thinking you've already made it when you haven't. Whereas when you have, and then you know you've made it, it's not arrogance, it's just knowledge. That's what you need to know. Again, it's all tying back to this technique for bearing pain. It's just completely processing it. Every fibre of the experience, every neuron is pushing you to stop. Just recognizing that, just understanding it. It's recognizing things so much. I get these thoughts in my head sometimes, and they're not nice thoughts at all. They're quite graphic, but I don't see myself as some kind of psychopath who thinks of them. I think of them as the products of this weary brain that's been pushed a lot, and I see myself as separate from them, and I just understand them. Of course, I think that every single thought ever, you are inadvertently creating them, even though it just seems like they come about, but we do create them. That's kind of how I figured out how to get to sleep a bit quicker than I used to. I realized my brain was just coming up with these thoughts, but then who is my brain? It's me. Like, it's just plain logic. I am my brain, so I'm going to be coming up with these thoughts, and I was unknowingly adding to them, like adding a bit of drama, you know. Oh, look at this fantasy, you know, my life kind of sucks now, but look at this, it's great. Look at the whole community, it's so nice. Wow, and then suddenly it's about 12:30 and I have to wake up for 7 for school tomorrow. That's an ordeal. It's an ordeal to come back to it, come back to reality. Like, oh crap, I've been deluding myself for the last 2 hours and I'm not asleep yet, whereas I could just be asleep and I wouldn't have deluded myself at all. So for one, I'm going to be sleep deprived tomorrow, and two, I feel like crap now because I've pushed myself into a fantasy world, and that's what I think is so dangerous about the future, because people are becoming weaker, and these massive companies are making our lives easier in every way imaginable. There's virtual lives that you can just adopt and replace your own with. So yeah, that's pretty much what a lot of young people are doing these days. Even though I used to just go on these games all the time, just virtual worlds, virtual avatars. Wow, you can't go to the discomfort of making yourself look good in real life, so you have to use this virtual character. It's very dark stuff. And the delusion is just going to continue. People who can't make it in real life are just going to be going into these virtual worlds like the metaverse. The metaverse is exactly what's going to be happening. They know that people can't withstand the tragedy of their own lives enough, and they have to go into this fantasy world. And then the headgear comes off, and then they just see their musty apartment in front of them, and the Mountain Dew on the side, and the Cheetos on the table. That is delusion at its finest. You are deluding yourself from your whole life. You wake up in the morning, you put the headgear on, you dabble in a very hyper-stimulated, overly focused world, and you know, life is great for the first few years. There's really no drawbacks, I must say, but after that, it's not good. And sometimes our situations are so bad that we have to do that just to have some hope of life. I'm not saying I'm one of those people. No, I don't have to delude myself, but some people do. You know, it's just that bad for them. I don't think I'm weak. I don't think I'm strong either, though. I'm about medium. I'm somewhere in the middle. And that's decently impressive, considering that 99% of people are quite weak. So I'm in the top 1% anyway. I'm still not strong though. But I don't delude myself, and that's the main thing. That's why I'm on the path to becoming strong, even though I'm not there yet. But I never delude myself. I don't delude myself into thinking I can drive a car, because let's be honest, I've had about 22 or 23 lessons in the last 2 years, and they've been split out between an average of about nearly 2 months between them. It's not on. It's stupid. Actually, that maths doesn't make sense. There'd probably be less between them, but you know, you still get the message. Like, there was one period where there was 6 or 7 months between my lessons. I didn't forget how to drive completely, but when you're not doing it consistently and you're just avoiding doing it, which I wasn't, by the way, it was purely circumstantial, but if you are doing that, then you're going to have to face up to it eventually, and it's going to be your future self. That's what delusion is. It's pushing off the harsh reality to your future self, and your future self in the present moment is equivalent to another person. So you're basically selfishly leaving your work for another person to do, and you're going to get the retribution for that. It's just so important to not delude yourself. I think that's the problem with most of the problems in the world, genuinely. It's just delusion. It's us choosing to ignore the slightly less pretty reality and fooling ourselves. It's like me when I started working. Of course, I didn't need that momentum. I couldn't do much more at the time. I genuinely couldn't. Like, I was doing well. Even to be working after a day of college, starting at 6 p.m. and then even ending at 7 p.m, that was pretty good for me to be doing. But that's not the way to build a business. You need to be investing more than an hour a day. And people who invest an hour a day in the business because they need to have balance, that is delusion at its finest. And there are many people who do that. Like, life needs to be about balance. Well, progressively take away the balance and then you're going to be way more effective. This video is getting pretty long, but I don't know, more ideas keep popping into my head, and I'm enjoying sharing them because, I don't know, people probably just won't listen to me in real life. Well, I don't delude myself into thinking I'm some successful businessman just because I've gotten a few free clients. I'm not deluded, and I will face whatever tribulation comes my way to achieve what I need to. I may endure enough pain to the point of where I feel like I'm suffocating, but I'm not going to stop. You shouldn't either.